friends, and welcome to my July BooksandLala Buzzword Reading Challenge. I am very excited to get into these books. One has been on my TBR for quite a long time, and I did pick it up because of Kayla, so I felt like this was the perfect opportunity to read it. And the other one is my one and only book from my Evernight, is that what it's called? Subscription before I canceled it, because horror is just too hit or miss for me, and I really hope I like it because the book is so beautiful. But with that being said, the challenges this month, one of them was really easy and one of them was a bit more tricky. The more tricky one is the title challenge of the month, which is a title with a profession in it. And I know Kayla said she was like letting people be a little bit more loose with it because it is tricky. I had two options. I had the one I picked, and then I had the personal librarian. I do think that maybe anything that has like king, queen, princess could also be considered their job. So if you have anything like that, I feel like that would also work. But the book that I am going with for this is Dating Dr. Dill by Nisha Sharma. I think Kayla, from what I recall, really enjoyed this book, so I'm excited to give it a go. This one says it is about Karina Mann dreams of having a love story like her parents, but she prefers restoring her classic car to swiping right on dating apps. When her father announces he's selling her late mother's home, Karina makes a deal with him. He'll gift her the house if she can get engaged in 4 months. But her search for a soulmate becomes impossible when her argument with Dr. Prem Verma, host of the Dr. Dill Show, goes viral. Now, the only man in her life is the one she doesn't want. Dr. Prem Verma is dedicated to building a local community health center, but he needs to get the doctors with deep pockets. The Dr. Dill Show was doing just that until his argument with Karina went viral and he was left shortchanged. That's when Karina's meddling aunties present Prem with a solution. Convince Karina he's her soulmate and he'll regain funding for his clinic. Even though his views on love matches and arranged marriages conflict with hers, Prem finds the more time he spends with Karina, the more he begins to believe she's the woman he wants to spend the rest of his life with. But for Prem and Karina to find their happily ever after, they must admit that hate has turned into fate. And then for the cover challenge, it was foiling or a metallic element. So I think foiling counts. I have We Call Them Witches by India Rose Bauer. This is the Evernight exclusive edition. So here is the cover. I'll show you guys all the details. We've got these super pretty sprayed edges, and here is the back. Is this one signed? I do not remember. Yes, it is signed. And we have got really pretty end papers. This is within the front cover of the book, and then this is in the back cover of the book, and then this is the naked hardcover, which is actually incredible. And so I am going to be very sad if I do not like this, because it is so pretty. But it says, Britain 2 years after they came. Most people have been devoured by the eldritch creatures. Sarah and her family have been fighting for survival. The only thing that works against these monsters are witches. And these witches, is their knowledge of folklore and pagan rituals. When a girl named Parsley suddenly appears in the garden with their current camp, she cannot remember where she came from or why she's there. As Sarah and Parsley begin to develop feelings for each other, disaster strikes, and Sarah's younger brother Noah is snatched by the witches. Determined to find him, they set out across the desolate moors full of merciless terror to hunt the very creatures they've been hiding from. Can they succeed in saving Noah? Will Parsley and Sarah's begrudging love survive the bloodthirsty witches? And who can Sarah trust in this world devoid of humanity? So I feel like this could either be a love or a hate. And I feel like this will be a minimum 3 stars. So let's get into it and see what we think. Okay, friends, we are going to start this video with this one. We Call Them Witches, as opposed to the other book, honestly, because the audio for this one is shorter. So I figured it would be a lovely time to get this, you know, this one read. I'm sorry, I was just like thinking about what I need to get done over the next couple of days, and there's something that I thought I had to get done before I left on my trip and I actually don't. Oh, that's very satisfying. But I mean, I still will probably, but the weight is off my shoulders. But I am about to get started on the audio for We Call Them Witches. It's actually a jump scare. The like cover on my audiobook has like a red fox on it, and it's just so different than this. I keep forgetting that it's this book. But the audio for this is only 8 hours because this book is quite short. It's just over 300 pages. I don't think I'll finish it today because I don't have that much work left to do, and I I want to finish my physical book that I'm reading today because I've been reading it for way too many days, and I just want to like bust that out. So that's my priority when I'm done working. But I still have a little bit of work to do, so maybe I'll get possibly like halfway through this, and then we will check in when I have an update for you, which is not right this second. That'll be later. Okay friends, if you see like black all over my clothes, you can see it here on my sleeve. Toner did get everywhere, but I managed to get about halfway through. We call them witches, as I suspected. I don't know about this book, guys. It has really bad reviews actually on Goodreads. It has like a 3.3, which is actually crazy. It's feeling like a 3, which is I guess all I'm hoping for at this point, because I don't want to have to unhaul this stunning edition. But basically in this book we've got our main girl Sarah, and we really get to see Sarah's big love for her siblings. This is a post-apocalyptic horror book, which is a subcategory of horror that I do actually really like, but this just feels like it's not doing anything particularly different or unique. This just seems like very much so like you took all the elements and like from like the very stereotypical elements from that genre and put them in this book. So we've got Sarah. She is like the main protagonist that we are following, and her family is kind of on the run. They're changing their location where they live pretty regularly every few years because there are these like monsters that they refer to as the witches that are killing everybody. And so they have all of these like guards in place to try to prevent them from coming in through all of the like pagan rituals and tales that and folklore that they have learned throughout the years, and they're using this to implement ways to keep the witches out. There is her parents, and then she has a sibling whose name is Danny, and Danny goes along with the parents. They're like 6 years older than Sarah, and so they go on these like excursions with the family where Sarah is left to kind of care for her younger siblings. One day they're very big into their garden. They end up stumbling upon this girl who they bring to their house, but they can't really trust that she's not bad in some way, shape, or form. So they had her like kind of tied up in this one room with like the door locked for quite a while, and then Sarah kind of convinced them that they should be able to let Parsley out. But everything Sarah does is kind of to benefit her siblings. She's like, that's the room with the fireplace, like we're approaching winter, like the kids need the warmth, like we can't keep going on like this. And now we're at halfway through. There is this sapphic romance happening between Sarah and Parsley, which is fine. I don't really have, I feel like it kind of came out of nowhere. The way that Parsley is described, she seems like a child. So if I didn't go into this knowing that it was going to be a sapphic romance between them, like it says it in the description, I would have been like, what do you mean? Because she literally seems like she's 8 years old. And I think the story would be better. And so where we're at now, they're kind of seeing Parsley kind of partake in this really odd behavior. Like she's standing in the garden, like muttering things like under her breath about Sarah, about how like she's trying, but she's so nice, XYZ. So I feel like Sarah is maybe working with the witches and is trying to like get Sarah for them. Like that Parsley's working with the witches and she's trying to get Sarah to go beyond their wards to get captured by the witches. And something else super strange just happened where Parsley is like, oh my god, something's out there, something's her, and they go and it's one of these like creatures that they call a witch. It doesn't look like a witch, it looks like a creature. And also I lied, there's not a fox on the cover of this at all. It's literally bright yellow letters with like a flower, like dried herbs in the middle, so please ignore that. But they go and it's this witch creature that's dying, and Sarah's kind of in the mindset of like, okay, let's leave, like I don't really care about this creature. And Sarah's like, or Parsley says to Sarah, like, she's like kind of holding something, and Sarah thinks Parsley's maybe wanting to like put it out of its misery, but really Parsley wants to like stay with it because it's hurting. And so she has a lot of sympathy for these witches, which is very strange given like the context of everything. And something was said about like the witches will get them, and Parsley said something along the lines of, yeah, well, not me. So I'm feeling like it's some sort of scenario where like she's immune to them, ain't kind of like The Last of Us, where like, I don't remember Bella Ramsey's character, I don't know why the name is slipping me, is like immune to the monsters, and that's kind of giving like that kind of vibes. And I'm very interested to see where it goes, but it is just feeling very bland at the moment, like just plain vanilla ice cream, nothing really exciting going on here, which is a little bit devastating because I wanted to live, laugh, love it. But the reviews are not stellar, so I guess I can't be shocked that I'm not loving it when it doesn't really appear that anybody is. So whatever this picture is in the back, has not happened yet for me, but I'm feeling like that's probably Danny, because they mentioned Danny having short hair. But that is that on that. I'll probably finish it tomorrow. I'm not finishing it today. It's 5:30 and I'm done with audio. Okay, friends, we in fact finished this We Couldn't Be Witches by India Rose Power, and there is a cover with a fox on it. I am not going crazy. We call them witches. Boom. I didn't lose my mind even though I thought I did. Yeah, I ended up just giving this 3 stars. I feel like everything about this book was incredibly predictable kind of from the jump. Like everything that happened, I could see happening, but there wasn't anything inherently wrong with it. It was a nice story. It was a fine story. It is a story that I've already started to forget, even though I just finished this book 3 minutes ago. It's just like fine. Do you ever read a book like that where you're like, it didn't do anything wrong, but it didn't particularly do anything right? And because of that, it had to land on a 3-star. I feel like it fell into too many tropes. It was too cookie cutter of a like dystopian post-apocalyptic type of book. It didn't do anything unique. It didn't like break out of the mold in any way, shape, or form. It was just exactly as you would expect it to be, and because of that, it ends up being kind of boring when there's nothing really shocking you or getting your attention. There's nothing really like different about it, when it just kind of feels more like the same shit you've read over and over and over and over and over and over again. It kind of leads into it being boring, and that's really it was fine. I was never like, oh, I can't stand listening to this, I'm over this book. But like I started hearing the like ending music and I was like, well, that was the whole thing. There's no like secondary plot twist that's gonna happen. It's really gonna blow it out of the water. And the answer was simply no. And so we have finished book 1 for this video, 3 stars, and I'm hoping Dating Dr. Dill is marginally better. Please. I am running around like a chicken with my head cut off trying to get work done before I leave in the morning. And I want to get this video done so that I can edit this video and it can be scheduled for while I'm gone. You know what I mean? But anywho, I'm about halfway through dating Dr. Dill, and I will admit I am getting the ick a little bit by these characters. But in this book, we've got Karina and we've got Prem, and essentially Karina comes from this Southeast Asian family where the fact that her little sister is getting married before her is a huge, like, embarrassment, disappointment, and whatever. They've forgotten her birthday. They're kind of treating her like trash, and they really think that her only purpose in life is to find a man. And she's kind of like, I don't really like yes, I want to fall in love, but I want a love marriage. I don't want an arranged marriage, and I don't like how you guys are going about this. But they are just like going on and on and on and on about how she's getting old and her fertility is going down and all of these things. So when she's out at a bar, kind of like drinking on her birthday because her whole family forgot about it, she runs into this guy who says for a living he fixes broken hearts. They make out, they almost hook up, and then he gets called away with an emergency. She's kind of pissed because he basically leaves her with her shirt over her head and bounces. So her sister is an influencer, and when her sister gets invited to go on the Dating Dr. Dill show, her sister's going with her as like her assistant. They arrive, and the person running this show is none other than this guy that she made out with at this bar who kind of left her hanging. He starts talking about how he doesn't believe in love and XYZ, and she calls him out because when they met, the things he had said to her when they met were totally different than the things that he was saying on his show. She's like, so either you're lying on your show or you lied to me and you're basically a piece of shit. Well, her sister was live streaming all of this. So this has now caused Dill to lose a lot, or Dr. Dill, Prem, to lose a lot of his like investors. And the reason he needs investors is he's trying to open this clinic that specializes in caring for people of like his descent because they tend to be overlooked and not cared for properly. So Karina's also facing this issue where her dad is trying to sell he wants to like retire and maybe move back to India, maybe move to Florida. Her grandma's going to be moving, but she is really deeply attached to their house. Her mother died, and this is the house that she grew up in. It was her mom's house. Her and her mom did a lot of projects on this house together, and it's very sentimental to her, but she can't afford the house, which is a cause of contention with her family because she used to have this high-paying lawyer job, which she quit to do a less high-paying job in the law field because it brought her more joy, which is very much an embarrassment to her family. So she's like, okay, to her dad, well, you have this money set aside for my future, like you were giving my sister hers for her wedding, like can't I just have mine now? And he's like, no, it's for your wedding, so you can't get this money until you're engaged. So now Dill kind of needs to repair his image on his inability to believe in love, and Karina needs to be engaged in order to get her money. So I keep calling him Dill. Dr. Dill, Prem is trying to convince Karina that they should just get fake engaged for the benefits of both of them. And she's kind of like against it, and she's kind of going on all these various dates. But what actually just gave me the ick is she's on this date with this gamer, and it's very much leading into the stereotype of making fun of people who play board games. And they've like talked about Magic the Gathering, they talked about Dungeons and Dragons, and like talking about it in a negative light. And as somebody who those are like some of my main hobbies, it is in fact giving me the ick. Overall, it's like fine. It's feeling, unfortunately, also like a 3-star, but at least we'll be getting it off the TBR, and that's always a plus. But I don't think it's going to help with my terrible average rating for the month. Her sister's also a fucking bitch. She's making everything about herself. Like, on Karina's birthday, she usually, like, I forget the name of the dish, but they usually make, like, this specific dish in her family on birthdays, and like her sister likes the cauliflower ones, and she does not like the cauliflower ones. And because it's like her sister's, like, I don't know what they're doing some shit for her wedding, she's like, oh, well, I'll make them right now. And she's like, okay, well, I literally don't like the cauliflower ones. You've already forgot about it. So, like, I don't really think, like, that it matters. But there is this, like, group chat with all of, like, her aunties trying to set her up on all these dating sites. And that part is really fun and funny. But I'm not obsessed with it. I do, again, like the mixed media parts where there is, like, text messages and things like that. But I just am not believing in them as a couple. And her sister's so rude all the time. Like, so self-centered that I quite literally want to crawl through these pages and punch her sister in the face. which is a little mean, but it is how I feel. So I'm gonna go finish this up. I'm currently working on listing photos for my new releases. While you guys are watching this, actually, shameless self-plug, I believe that this video is coming out on the 2nd of July, if my math is right. And if that is correct, tomorrow is my 6-year anniversary for my small business, and I'm offering 35% off all the stickers in my shop. There's tons of bookish stickers, custom book covers, tons of book journaling stickers. You can watch some of my book journaling videos, which I will have one coming up on Sunday, hopefully, if everything works out for you guys to watch. And yeah, just so you know, that is happening. I think I'm going to, I can take you guys with me, because why not? I feel like these videos tend to be a little bit shorter than I personally prefer. I like my videos to be around 30 minutes minimum, but because this is a 2-book video, it tends to be a little shorter. But I am, like I said, actively working on getting my new releases prepped. There's like 180 new items. Oh, and the whole shop is 35% off. I don't know if I said that with collectible daily freebies. Pretty awesome. And if you're one of the first 30 orders, you are going to get a multi-shop grab bag from 7 of my favorite small businesses. Okay? But I am leaving town tomorrow, so I need to eat up anything in the fridge. And I do have some leftover macaroni and cheese that I am going to heat up. But I need to today. I still have to edit. I just edited my vlog, which means I still have a perfect pair for my other channel. I do have another channel if you don't know, my small business channel. So I have my vlog, I have a perfect pair in my new release video. I have to film for that. And then hopefully this video, my gamer books video, and my Instagram pics, my TBR video. I'm hoping to get all of those things edited today. So I need to get a move on, but my tummy is growling, so I do in fact need to do that. I am using like plastic forks because I'm trying to do as little dishes as I need to do, but I cannot leave the state with dishes in my sink. I just cannot do that. Okay, y'all, is 4 o'clock and objectively ridiculous time to have taken a shower and gotten ready for bed. Yes, but the truth of the matter is I have to be awake at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I have 5 videos to edit, including this one. So I was really close to finishing Dating Dr. Dill whenever I was finished with my work for the day. So I, you know, hunkered down and I went for a walk, and it's like 96 degrees out there. Whew! And I finished up Dating Dr. Dill. The second half of this book was definitely better than the first, but I'm going to be so for real with you. The Magic the Gathering and D&D slander actually took me out of it and pissed me off. And I know that I'm being dramatic about it, but like, that's just the truth. That's the truth of the matter. That is how I feel about it, and it did, in fact, pee me out. So I couldn't really get past that. So in the second half of the book, we really get to see Karina start to come around to the idea of, it's not pronounced prem, I think prom. Prom is how they pronounce it in the book. But prom is maybe not that bad of a guy. And they start to kind of come to terms with the fact that maybe neither of their viewpoints on love is exactly correct. And maybe the way that they saw their parents and how they're basing their view of love is correct. Because their parents only show so much of their relationship to their children. So throughout the second half of the book, we really get to see that. We also get to see Karina and Prem come in to themselves and kind of take on her sister, because she's been nothing but a stuck-up, spoiled brat this whole time. And I did like getting to see her comeuppance, and I did like seeing Prem, I don't know, seeing Dr. Verma, you know, really come around and really like try to win her back with like grand gestures and all of those sorts of things. I really do love a grand gesture moment, and I did love seeing that. I look ridiculous. My hair is so soaking wet. But overall, it was okay. I did, like I said, I gave it 3 stars. I thought the spice was so incredibly corny in this book, like, to the point that I could not listen to it. I can't handle a vagina being called a mound. Like, if a man said to me, like, said the word mound in reference to a vagina, you best believe I would be pulling up my panties and kicking him in the throat, because that's disgusting. IMO. So, with that being said, we did give this 3 stars, which means we gave both of the books in this video 3 stars, which is not our best running, but there's always August. I have no idea what the August prompts are. I have not looked at them, but the profession and the metallic element on the front have been fulfilled in this video with 2 very mediocre reads. Unfortunately, I do hate that for us. I guess, like I said, we got them both off the TBR, but sometimes I feel like, for me, like a 3 star is not a bad rating. It just means that it was fine, kind of forgettable. And that is kind of how I feel about these books. Like, I think by the time I'm done with my wrap-up in my book journal, I will never think of either of these books again. And that's fine. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!